All right, everybody, we are back for our Saturday morning dates. It's been a while since we've been live. What have we been doing, Chris?
Oh my gosh, a lot.
We've been traveling. So just to give you guys a little context, we are probably on like morning date 360. Yes, 360 today. And we left our house June 9th in Florida, and we have been traveling all summer with our kids, doing various things. We took a drive to Oklahoma. We stayed in a 23-foot RV while traveling. We then went to Texas. We have then since went to Georgia.
Yeah.
And now we're in California. And we have not missed a morning date. I think in all of our travel, we missed one morning date because we had a 7 a.m. flight.
Yeah, and then today's was pretty rough because it was, 55 degrees outside?
It's 55 degrees in San Francisco, and we're freezing to death. So we did a morning date, but it was a modified version of our morning date.
Yeah. And just to note, we came from Fort Myers, so Southwest Florida. Started that drive, so it wasn't like we started in Texas or started in whatever. No, it was full on drive, full on.
We drove with our children from Florida to Oklahoma, drove to Texas, then drove to Georgia, and then from Georgia flew to California for a week, and then we're here till Tuesday, and then we're leaving and going back home to Florida finally.
Yeah,
but I will say it's definitely tested our relationship.
Especially with the two kids.
The two kids in a 23-foot RV for a few weeks in Oklahoma was fun.
I learned a lot about myself.
Yes. But during that time, we took 2 days out and went and had a couples retreat. And that's what we want to talk to you guys about today, a couples retreat. If you saw in the description, this was, do you want to work on your marriage, but you don't know how to? And we want to share some things with you guys that we've been working on while traveling. People have come up to us and said, oh my gosh, like, I love your morning dates. Like, oh my gosh, how did you get to that point in your relationship, in your marriage? How do you get Chris to support you in your business and your crazy ideas? Have they been coming up to you and asking you the same thing?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've had a lot of people come up to me and just honestly ask me how I'm doing and how I feel a lot. Some of it around health, some of it around just what they've seen, like you said, with how we've been doing and how we've been engaging in the date mornings following that. And I'll be honest with you, we are like day and night difference in terms of personalities, what drives us. So, I don't, if you don't know me right now, I used to be an extreme introvert. I still am an introvert. I think I've gotten away from the extreme, but so much so that honestly, when we were first going out, I actually broke up with you.
Yes, you did.
Because the reason why I broke up was because I didn't like the attention. Having somebody who was 7 years older than me. But just I was that much of an extreme introvert that I couldn't deal with that. And so fast forward to today. That's why I wanted to just bring that up real quick is it's always been a night and day difference in terms of, what drives us, who we are. And sorry, we're just checking the feed here. But just in terms of like, what I need to work on versus what she needs to work on. And I think trying to figure that out and really sitting down with that couples retreat has been huge because we've never always been in sync, and it's been a work in progress, I would say.
Yeah.
But it was an incredible experience for me. It was my first in terms of like that alignment and just being real with everything, 100% open.
Yeah. And so, with the couples retreat, I was telling Chris that I've been doing this to him for years. and he didn't know it.
Yeah.
Like getting him aligned, or me aligning with him and him aligning with me. I've been doing it for years because I would go off site. I do my own planning for my business, for me personally, and for us as a couple. And then for us as a family, I would set up my goals, and I would say, I'll show you my Trello boards. But I was getting him kind of on board because someone asked me the question, like, how do you get them to follow you? How do you get them to do it? How do you make them want to be in the business or support you in the business or even align with your growth goals? And, I would set my goals, and then I typically just led by example. But Chris said something the other day that was pretty eye-opening for me, and I didn't even know that I did it. And what was it? Was I gave you what I give you?
I don't remember the way I worded it, but I think it was, you gave me an outlet that I could feel comfortable with.
Yes. And so one way was, I wanted to take salsa classes, and very simple, but I had them on my goals. I told him, hey, I signed up for them. This was like 3 years ago. Like, hey, I signed up for them. Oh, no more, like 5. And if you want to go, great. And if you don't worry, but I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
But I gave him an outlet to say, you don't have to go, but I would like you to come. But I still want to continue with my growth and my personal goals. And salsa classes seem weird, but that was just a personal goal. I think it's just something I've always wanted to learn. But I always gave him an outlet. And I thought that was pretty powerful because as entrepreneurs, are we giving our spouses an ultimatum or an outlet when it comes to what they're doing in the business? Like, I interviewed Faith the other day on our podcast, and she's like, I asked my husband, what did he want to do? It's giving them that outlet. And, it wasn't an ultimatum. It was a choice. It was, here's what I want to do. And you can come along. If not, okay.
But here's the thing, though, is yes, there's that. But the other thing is there's 2 different ways to go about it. One is to give an outlet, but it being passive aggressive in terms of in your head, you're still thinking he better. Otherwise, if he doesn't, F him or F her. There's that part of the thinking where you have this deep-seated emotion that you're still tying to. But there's the other part I think is much healthier, which is being okay with whatever response comes out and just being real.
Yeah. And I was okay with whatever response and anything, but that took working on me to be comfortable to do things by myself or alone. So let's, we could talk for days on this topic, but what we wanted to talk about in this date morning and kind of get some indication of interest from you guys. And I would love to hear in the chat, like, do you want to work on your marriage, on your relationship with your partner or your spouse? And I don't mean business partner, unless you're sleeping with that business partner. Business partner, but you don't know how to, like, you don't know where to start. I would love to know if anybody is feeling that way, because me and Chris talked. What I will say this trip has done for us is amazing. All this time in a car. We didn't drive to California, but we rented a car yesterday. We drove 6 hours to the Redwoods to take our kids to see the Redwoods, 6 hours back. And in that drive, it's a lot of thinking and together time. But Chris said, I want to bring what we've been doing to other entrepreneur couples in business that may be struggling. And you don't both have to be involved in the business, because to learn to live with an entrepreneur is very difficult. But we want to bring our strategy, our framework to you guys. So we would love to get an indication of interest that if we did a 2 days couples retreat, would you be interested in that? And we have the whole framework of how we do inner scorecards, outer scorecards, personal values versus family values, and how those all commingle together is what we've been working on. And what I have to say is that it's not easy. Like, a 2-day retreat is not going to fix it, but it's going to be the stepping stone to get you to where, like, the foundation of where you need to start.
Yeah.
And it was his idea to do this, and I thought it'd be amazing. And so we're thinking about doing something first quarter, actually in January of 2025, so that you can get your goal setting ready. And this is way more than goal setting, right? This is mainly so we can start the year on the right foot, personally, as a couple, And then also, how does that align professionally, right? So it's a holistic approach to working with your spouse or your partner. And how does that integrate into our business and our family? Because this whole work-life balance is a whole bunch of crap. We just need to manage each other's energy and know that where are each of us going. Any insight, Chris, on that?
Yeah. So I really wanted to announce or roll this out and really test the waters, with what I'd like to call couples flow. And
we're in a hotel and there's a baby crying in the background. I apologize.
Yeah, we got up at 4:30 in the morning here Pacific time, I think.
Yes.
So might be a little bit tired here. Now it's 7:30, 8 o'clock. But I wanted to call it couples flow because I wanted it to be more about, like Libby said, is the organic or the holistic approach. I don't want it to be some fluffy flu, tell them you love them type of thing. I want this to be more real because it was real to me. And again, I think even though I'm a little bit softer, is from a man's perspective, sometimes you're not 100% on board. I wasn't at first when we first went through our own therapy a couple years back, but really I wanted this to be more of something that's more about driving yourself, and it feels more attainable than just the fluffy stuff. And so I wanted this to be real. I wanted it to be impactful, and I wanted to know that also from somebody who's not a born and bred entrepreneur, that there's still a place in the relationship with an entrepreneur, an extreme entrepreneur at that. So that I didn't have to basically leave myself with these doubts and insecurities my entire life, because there were parts where that was going to happen if I didn't do something about it, and it just kept building and building and building. And so this is something that's really important to me, and something that I'm very passionate about, especially because I came from a broken family. A lot of stuff that I will be sharing openly when we do this. But again, and also with my past career, being on audio engineering, traveling, touring, a lot of infidelity on the road, a lot of marriages that I've seen get dissolved and broken down because somebody's sleeping with somebody else. And
misalignment.
Yeah, that's all it is. Mm-hmm. And so,
Dan Martell says, if you think running a business is hard or expensive, try getting a divorce. And I truly believe that we are with all of you, or with the person you're supposed to be with right now. Now, are they that person that we're with working on themselves as well? And that's where that misalignment comes from. And, we want to bring this and share this with everybody because it wasn't something we just did in 2 days. This has been years and years of us working and building and learning about ourselves first, and then each other. And then how do we incorporate this into the family? And then how does the business accept this from there? So It's us, right? It's me first, then it's us, it's our family, and then it's our business. And that's how we approach everything. That's how we approached in the couples retreat. But it's all that. If you're truly living your inner scorecard, your outer scorecard will reflect that. And if you're not, it will reflect that as well. As our great mentor, Dan Martell, says, to really see where your priorities are, check your bank account. Yeah. And that will show you where are your priorities, because what we say that comes out of our mouth don't necessarily align with what we're actually doing in our actions.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're watching this, we'd love to know, is this something you'd be interested in? Would your spouse or partner participate, right? That would be a very holistic approach to partnerships, marriage, and how they integrate into business. From an entrepreneur and from, I call Chris an entrepreneur. You could be married to an entrepreneur and you don't even know it. And an entrepreneur is a very buzzword right now.
Yeah.
And why is it popular? I think it's popular because COVID changed what we want from life. And we saw that if we were married to an entrepreneur, it could give our spouse the freedom to have a great job. Not necessarily more money, but the respect and freedom and flexibility to work how I want, where I want, and when I want for the both of us. But what we haven't learned is how to work together. And that's what Chris and I want to bring to you guys.
Yeah. And I also want to say that I honestly, I don't think I started as an entrepreneur. It was something that grew and built from that. I was very much a work for somebody else, an employee mindset. And so that's where I started, just to let you know. It's not like we're all just this motivated,
Yeah.
getting it done. I started as that person who depended on somebody else to tell me what to do, to kind of like move my career forward. But I kind of learned and grew through that. And I just want to say, like, regardless of where you both or each other are at in that relationship, in that phase of what you're looking for, this is something that's, I think, is very valuable and very important to me, with being able to stay in sync with your relationship, even if there's what you see as like two completely different paths. But that's fine. And that's what we want to talk through and work through. So my ask is only for those, if you have an interest, please let us know, because this will help us kind of set the standard for, how we approach this couples flow retreat, and what comes after that. And I want to make sure that really, if the takeaway here is, if you even have an inkling of a thought that you want something better out of the relationship, or you want to improve on it, then that's what I want. That's what we want to work on. It's not that, it's got to be perfect, or again, the rah-rah. This is just, if you want something better with the relationship you currently have, then I would love to know, what's your feedback? Would you like to do this? Let us help you in figuring out where we take this going forward.
And I like that, Chris. Let us help you. One thing I can say is we did not do this alone.
Yeah.
We've had coaches, we've had mentors, we've had therapists, and family, and we didn't do it alone to get to where we're at. But I didn't really realize, how when you do stuff, you don't really think it's that great because you did it, and you're like, well, I'm not really that special. This is normal. This is everything I do. I think that. Until so many people started to ask us, Facebook message me, private message me, text me, come up to me at events and say, like, how did you get here? You inspire me. I want that relationship. I want that type of relationship. And so we want to share with you guys how we got it. And we just want to know, are you even interested in learning? Do you care? Do you want that kind of relationship? Because if you do, we would love to share with you. I actually, here comes Libby, the crazy organizer, have a framework of how I do it, of how I helped Chris or got him to get inspired, or just, lead by example. And I learned this as simple as the KonMari method of, you cannot force someone to organize their surrounding, to throw away their things. Like, you don't know how many couples I've worked with when I was an organizer. Like, one couple's tidy and the other one's a hot mess. How do I make my husband throw away all his tools? You cannot make someone do anything. And I learned that back when I was organizing, of how do I get it to where we're both aligned and we're both kind of living the life that we each want, not that I want or that he wants. And so I just thought it would be interesting. I thought you guys would need help. And at the end of the day, all the money we've spent, the time we've spent on each other, on ourselves, it's something that we could deliver back to you guys if you're interested in hearing more. So I'm super excited. One of the good things, or the big things we worked on, and we actually did this exercise with our staff at Recruit, is self-sabotaging. It was an exercise we did at our couples retreat. And how do we self-sabotage? And
oh my God,
can we call each other out when we see each other doing it?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a super incredible exercise. And I have then stopped myself and seen it when Chris does it, or call each other out. But we're self-sabotaging every day. And we've taken what we've learned in the couples retreat, and now we're teaching our employees and our staff and our kids, how are you self-sabotaging? What are the questions you can ask to identify it? Because those are the things that slow us down. Those are the things that cause misalignment.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, at the end of the day, I think that all of this stuff can be applied to everywhere in life and business.
I take it back to just the thought or an idea of, you know, that emotional fitness. It's gonna help everywhere.
Absolutely. So hopefully you guys are having a great morning. We're gonna wrap up. We've been on for 20 minutes. We just came from a great event, Cleaning and Cocktails with Ricky Rigolato in San Jose. Yesterday we went to the Redwoods. Today we're going to Monterey Bay for a few days, and then on Monday I'm going to Monterey Bay.
Monterey Bay, that's right.
Monterey Bay, and then Monday Libby is going to Napa Valley to drink a glass of wine in Napa Valley. That's all I want to do. It's like bucket list items are being checked off, and we're having a good time. And you know what? Life has never been better. I can't complain.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Oh, go ahead.
Yep. And I just want to say, if anything we said resonates with you, or you want to know more, you want to learn more, you want to stick there with us through this exploration, please do me a favor. And just, if you see this, wherever it might be, please go ahead and just reach out to us, comment, interested, or just write F for follow, whatever it is.
Or private message us.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to put out there that you're not having the best time in your marriage. And who cares, you know, what anyone else thinks? And I'm sorry, but who cares even right now if your spouse is on board? All we want to know is, are you interested? And you may not want to comment because it's not fun to put that in front of people. I know, I've been there. And I think one benefit that Chris and I have is this isn't my first marriage, right? Like he said, he had family issues growing up. He comes from a broken family. And we're a blended family, right? We're a blended family with blended, kids from my prior relationship. I've been through an actual horrible relationship. Like I said, if you think running a business is hard, try getting a divorce. It's actually horrible. But we have a lot of perspective and insight to bring. And we also have a lot of that we'd like to learn from you all as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're not by no means an expert. By no means.
It's a practice.
It's a working practice. It's work in progress. But we've found a really great place to be in a flow.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. And after hearing everyone ask about it and want it and private message me and private message Chris, we're like, maybe we should share more. So have a great weekend. We're wrapping up. If you don't need this, but you hear your entrepreneur friends struggling, let them know.
Or tag them, let them know, say like, hey, maybe this would help you. Because all we're here is to help. That's all we're here to do, is to help. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.